Hey there, Sean Bittner here from the M1 MedTech team. Today, I'll be walking you through how to submit your successful application to our Fall Accelerator program. So from our website, you'll be able to access the application by clicking this button in the top right corner. So here you'll find the homepage for our application system. You'll find relevant details about program deadlines and dates in this section. The applications for the Fall 2022 cohort open April 4th and close May 31st. We plan to have all of our decisions made by July 15th. To begin submitting an application for the current cycle, you'll want to click on Register at the top right-hand corner of the screen. Once you've registered an account and started an application, you can click on Login to return to your original application. So here you can register an account using your first and last name and an email address, or any of the 3 social profiles that are offered to you. So once you've created an account, you'll need to click on a confirmation email sent to the email address you used to sign up. You will not be able to submit your application until you click on this verification email. Here, you can click to view the different programs that are available for your application. In order to apply to the Fall Accelerator cohort program, you'll need to start by filling out an eligibility profile. Our eligibility questions are relatively simple. For the first question, we're curious as to whether your headquarters for your company are based in the United States. For the first program year, we'll be accepting companies only headquartered here. In the second question, we're curious if your company has plans for a novel medical device. The third question has to do with your progress as a company in raising significant funding. For example, have you raised a Series A or later round? We're also interested in learning whether you have participated in a previous accelerator program. Finally, we're interested in knowing what equity stake you currently own in the company, and whether you and your founders still retain 100% of the company, or if you have received an equity investment already. Once you're finished with this eligibility profile, you'll click Save to My Profile. You'll need to complete this step before you move on to the full application. Once you move to the next screen, you'll see an option to select the Fall 2022 program. Click on More here. On this screen, you can see details about the program. It will include information that you need in order to apply to the program, including background information on the company and founders, as well as the details of the problem that the medical device is solving. Here, you'll need to name your application following the convention given. Once you've named your application, you can then see the 3 stages of the application system. The first stage is the terms and conditions for using the site. This page details the terms for using the site and entering the M1 program. After reading through the terms and conditions, scroll to the bottom of the page and click I've read and agreed to the terms and conditions above, and then mark as complete to take you to the second stage of the application. Part 1 of the application will be asking primarily about background information about the company and its makeup. Here we'll be asking about information on who the founders are, background information about them and their expertise, as well as each of their roles at the company and any other demographic information they can give us. We'll also want a short bio at the end of this page. In the second page of Part 1, we're continuing to ask about additional company information. We're interested in learning when the company was founded, and if it is fully incorporated, what is the name and where are its headquarters? We're also interested in any information you have available publicly, such as a website or social pages. On page 3, we're continuing to ask about team members and their areas of expertise. Who's on the team? How did they come together to form this company? And what pieces of their background are they bringing to the table? We're also interested in how many founders the company has and the full and part-time headcounts for the company. Finally, if accepted into the M1 program, we're interested in how many of the company's employees are planning to participate in the program. Once you're finished entering this information, at the bottom you'll click Mark as Complete. This will take you to the second part of the application. In Part 2 of the application, we're asking more specific information about the medical device that you are trying to bring to the table. We'll be asking about product information, the challenges associated in the space right now, as well as more questions about the business itself. To start with, on page 1, we're asking for the name of your product or device. We also want a quick summary, 3 sentences or less, of what the product actually does. Following that, we'll want a more detailed executive summary, such as something that you would send to an advisory board or an investor. Here, you'll need to describe the need that your product addresses. What is the challenge here, and why do existing solutions not cover that challenge? We'd also like you to indicate the most recent stage of development that your product has passed. Is it just a concept, or do you have a fully working prototype? Have you done any benchtop testing or any preclinical testing? Finally, we do have an other category in case you need to explain, such as being between stages of development. Next, why do you want to participate in the M1 program? What aspects of this program are attractive to you, and what are some things you're hoping to get out of participating? Next, you'll want to describe the distribution of ownership in the company. How does ownership of the product or technology work? Is there licensing? Do you have full ownership, or are you licensing it from someone else? As well as describing the actual equity distribution. Is it a single founder, fully owned company? Is it split between different employees? Or are there other investors that have some equity in the company? To start page 2, you'll need to identify what the primary product category is. Is it software, a therapeutic, or strictly a medical device? In the 4th category, you can explain the details if it's a combination product. You'll next need to indicate the primary medical category. For this example, we'll be choosing dental. If there's a secondary medical category, you should also indicate that here. You also need to indicate what the primary stage of the patient journey that this device would be used in is. Is it being used for prevention or diagnostics? Is it being designed to help treatment decisions, or is it the actual treatment itself? Next, we're interested in learning about your company's most recent milestones. What are the major milestones you've accomplished already? What are the things you're looking to target next? If your company has gotten to this stage already, we're also interested in your anticipated regulatory pathway, as well as any regulatory status you may already have prior to the program. For the final question on this page, we want you to describe your company's exit strategy as detailed as possible. What is your ultimate goal here? Are you planning to continue building out the company and expanding it? Is your goal to be acquired? What is the final goal for this company? On page 3, you'll want to indicate any current and past partnerships with third parties. This could be a university affiliation, a hospital system you've worked with in the past, or any service providers that you've worked with that might be relevant on this application. We're also curious about previous participation in other accelerator or incubator programs and any pitch competitions that you've been a part of. Next, we're interested in the amount of money that you've raised to date and where this type of capital comes from. Is it all pre-seed, friends and family? Is it non-dilutive seed funding? Is it equity? Finally, there is an other option to explain anything outside of these standard options. We're also interested in any promises of ownership to outside third parties. Have you worked with any particular parties or companies that are interested in an ownership stake in the company? And then finally on this page, outside of this accelerator, are you currently seeking other funding, and what's the nature of those funds? On page 4, we'll be asking for more information about the target market, as well as the revenue model for your product. To start with, please explain your target market and size, and what the access plan is as detailed as you can. We'll also want you to explain what your anticipated revenue model is. On page 5, we start by asking about competition to your product, including what the current gold standard of care is, as well as any other competitors in the pipeline or already on the market. And then we're really interested here in what the competitive advantage is for your product. What makes your product ready to take on the competition? Finally, on this page, we will also be asking for an upload or a link to a secure folder. Here, you should include documents that are relevant to your application, such as a video or a slide deck. On page 6, we'll be asking about patenting and licensing. We're curious as to whether you've already filed patents on this technology, and if it's already licensed. Do you have freedom to operate as well? You should also indicate any other relevant intellectual property considerations here. Once you've completed the intellectual property information, you've reached the end of this application. You'll want to again click on Mark as Complete at the very bottom. Finally, when you're ready to submit the application, you can click on Review to go through your application in full and review your answers one last time. Once you submit your application, you will not be able to edit any of the answers. When you click on Submit, it will ask you one final time if you'd like to review and then submit the application. Once your application has been submitted, you can go back to My Applications at any time and view the application you submitted from your account.
Thanks for watching this video. Feel free to email us with any questions you might have. We're looking forward to seeing your application.